Afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all well. Am I coming through okay? Can you hear me okay? I wasn't sure I had to re-plug in my mic. So let me know if you can hear me, or else I'll have to go and re-plug it in again. Can you hear me okay? Testing, testing, 1, 2. Yes, no? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Yes, okay, good. Thank you, Rohan. Appreciate that. Okay, good. Wasn't sure. All right. Hope everybody is well. It's pretty horrible here in Dubai. It's like 40 bloody degrees, 45 degrees. So, anyway, what can you do? Good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, and also thank you to everybody new that subbed. Got about 11 subs over the last 2 days, so that's quite good. Good for me. Appreciate that. But anyway, let's talk about the markets, shall we? So, I was saying on Monday that, you know, we got to think about downward movement. Now, we've kind of had a decent move up. I think, Ahmed, you'll be happy, right? You bought this dip, which is, you know, it's looking quite strong. There's no doubt. We've passed through these highs now. However, for me personally, we have to wait. It's still a wait and see, right? It's still a wait and see on this daily chart. This is not a bullish engulfer, right? It's not come on high volume. It's actually technically an inside bar. You could call it that, or you could call it a bullish 180, whatever you want to call it. Right, it is a kind of a bullish sign. Let's not beat around the bush. It is a bullish sign. I don't really, you know, I've said this quite a lot, but I don't really want this to do this. I kind of want our complex corrective. Now, whether we get that or not is a different story, because we're showing the bulls are taking control here, right? There's no doubt about it. The bulls are taking control. So I think now we get up to roughly around this 43.60 level. And then again, we decide whether, if we do push through, we push through with kind of gusto. I think we can see some upward movement. If momentum kind of stalls here, then we could indeed get our kind of complex corrective back. Now, I think the SPX does go to this area. I mean, we have a slight area here it's at, possibly showing some sellers coming in at this moment. But my bias is, intraday we get up there. I just now look, I'll be honest, guys, I don't like it. You know, I think at this area we'll decide whether we want to go up or go down. I hope, and this may sound bad to say, I hope we come down. I hope we get that bigger corrective. I think the daily chart needs it. You know, I think it'll look a lot better if we do this. And I think around this area will be good for Forex trading, or for my personal trading in general. Whether we get that or not, I'm not sure. We know how the market's been the last little while. It is on an uptrend, and we could well see us continuing to the upside. I just don't think that'll calm the uncertainty that's been around for quite some time. I just don't. I genuinely don't. Maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I am wrong. I hope this dip, if it does come back, kind of puts a little bit more certainty in the market, because as we know, markets don't like uncertainty, and that's what we've got for a while. And if we get this push on, you know, lowering strength in that yen, lowering strength in the Swiss, lowering strength in the dollar, increasing strength in those commodity currencies, then that's a good thing. You know, we can make money from that. What we can't make money from is uncertainty and no real strength in any particular currency, or no real trends in any particular currency. No real follow through, no real momentum. So that's why I'm hoping for a kind of harder reset. But whether it happens or not, we'll have to wait and see. I do think this level is now key. I didn't think we'd push on as much as we have, but certainly watch the SPX around this area to decide what it wants to do. Parsa, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Hope you are all well. So that's what I'm thinking for the index. I'll firmly sit on the fence right now. I've still got to go kind of neutral stance. I'm not going to go risk on. I'm not going to go full-blown risk off. You know, you're kind of neutral. You know, it is. And also, it is kind of a V reversal here. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. What are you expecting? Do you think markets are going to go up? Do you think markets are going to go down? What do you guys think? Because also, this is this is just my personal opinion. You guys can have a different opinion. Everybody sees the market in a different way. I just hope it does have that corrective. Okay, dollar. So dollar, we're continuing in, we've tagged this upward trend line here, still kind of coming into this rising wedge pattern. Now, over the past hour, we've had a decent drop in the dollar. Whether that's a count on this, whether that's something to do with this, we'll have to wait and see. We could just be getting a reaction here. I still have a bias of continuation strength in the dollar. Whether that means we have a little dip here and then come back up, possibly. But I still do think the dollar gets to that area, 93.5 area. And that's where the real decision will be. I don't think we fail at this point. Like I said, if we do, it'll be just a corrective from this last 4 days of dollar strength. Every day we see a new trend. Yeah, I know. It's been like that for a while, Parsa. It's been like that for a while. That's why it's been difficult. And picking trades for me, in the meantime, they haven't really been there. They haven't been there. Any kind of breakouts haven't sustained. Okay, you could say the US dollar has been strong. Okay, you can say that. But in terms of actual setups, I haven't found that I could get into any moves, if that makes sense. Right? The moves are starting from, possibly deep and going like you wouldn't expect. For example, Euro yesterday went as you wouldn't expect and just goes and goes and goes. And for me, I couldn't get involved in that, because there was no setup there for me. So, it is, I mean, for me, hard market conditions, and it has been for a while. But, we always have to take a positive mindset. As long as during these times you're not blowing your account, you'll be okay. And that's the main thing. Recognizing when you make money, recognizing when you don't make money. So at this point in time, I don't make money. So making sure we're reducing our risk, protecting our capital is quite important. However, with this dollar, obviously we've got a bit of a rejection here. We're getting a slight rejection here on the daily chart, although the daily is not closed. That's important to note. So it may be just that, a reaction. We have seen any dollar weakness being bought into, right, for the past little while. Any dollar weakness has been bought into. I think that should continue. I think the pullback based on fundamental and fear from Delta wave. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's where the drop came. I mean, it's funny how these things happen, Ahmed. It is funny how these things happen in the SPX, right? Because I've been thinking for a while that the stock market doesn't look great, right? And I know that sounds strange to say because we are on an uptrend, right? But for me, as I said before, I made a lot of money in this period. And this is what I want, because that proper corrective, not this, not that, is good for the markets. And, I hope that happens. I really do hope that happens because, I want to start making money again. And that's where I make my money. But the next day, everything changes. Correct. Exactly right. Exactly right. Which is why my bias is what it is. Now, for the dollar, we could come back and retest this area. If this 4-hour bar closes like this, you might be expecting some downward movement in that dollar. But overall, like, you're talking daily perspective, I still think dollar strength comes into that area. So if you buy dollars on a pullback right now, it would make sense. If you have a setup buying the dollar, after, nowish, or, when you see that possible this coming to an end, that would make sense for me. And you've got to go with that because that's the trend, right? You've got to go with putting the odds in your favor and buying the dollar, even buying the yen, buying the Swiss right now, still put those odds in your favor because, still on a daily perspective, we are not looking great, right? We have had this. And these sometimes often do turn into this. So let's wait and see. So that would be still my bias. I'll show you this before I get into my watch list. There's not a lot on the watch list today. If you've got anything you want me to look at, let me know. So this euro pound I took as a fake out, which actually, Ahmed, we were discussing yesterday, roughly around this area. So I took this on. I'll show you the context. So obviously, we've had a break above this resistance zone. Okay? And look at this break. Look at this movement. That's completely unsustainable for me. At the point in time I took the trade, it was here. The 20 period was down here. You know, there was a massive extension there between price action and that 20 period. So for me, looking at sells on this break was quite good, right? But obviously, I needed a catalyst to get in. So on that 30-minute chart, I got that catalyst. This lovely hammer, took that sell stop here, stop loss above the wick, and using that SAR as my trade management. So one trade, use the SAR, trade management, waiting to see if this would indeed, you know, fall quite sharply or not, basically. And we didn't really get as much of a fall as I wanted to. Obviously, it's holding this level. So I took this trade out here. So on this candle here, again, as the dot goes underneath, and I got about 0.85 R out of that. So I added it to the spreadsheet here. So we added another one in, showing our results. So you can see the payoff ratio went down a little bit. You expect that with a little bit less profit, but our win rate went up a little bit as well. So, you know, the reason why I'm showing you this is how I develop a strategy. So hopefully if you're doing the same thing and you're, you know, wanting to create a strategy, this is how I do it. You know, I'd go through things every day. I found out, you know, I think yesterday my confirmation that taking a sell stop on these setups was the right move. The reason why I say that is because on the hourly chart here, I actually put my sell stop in on this evening star pattern, also on increasing volume. So I put my sell stop in a few pips below, and I didn't get triggered in. So that was one of the proponents of not taking a market order, but taking a sell stop. So again, building up that information to get as much data as possible on this particular strategy. So if you guys are developing a strategy or you see something that you like, this is how I believe that you should develop that into something you're comfortable trading with, by getting the right analytics, by getting the right data, so you actually know it works. So that was Euro Pound. It was still a winning trade at the end of the day, but obviously with these setups, I want at least 4 or 5 R on them, and we didn't really get that right now. But again, profitable trade, which was good. Hey mate, do you think USD CAD is pulling back to 26? I'll have a look at USD CAD. I'll go through, I only got 3 pairs on my watch list. The first is the Kiwi dollar. So Kiwi dollar here, we had our setup on the 4 hour, our context was good. Head and shoulders pattern. It wasn't a breakout trade because we had no accumulation, but it was enough there to potentially take the breakout retest. So what I'm looking for here is an ABC pattern. So we've had our A, had our B, and now I'm looking for C, roughly around that 20. If it can coincide with the 38.2, ideally, you know, a hammer candle here, a wick like this would be ideal. On that 20, on high volume, stop loss there, entry in as our ABC catalyst to take that to the downside. NZD USD short looks good to me. Daily looks nice. We've had our move, caught up to that 20, correcting through time rather than through price. Price action is below that 20, below that 200. That for me is not a bad trade. Again, just waiting for that to set up on Kiwi dollar. Again, I'm going to continue. Just because this has happened, right, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop my bias of buying the dollar, because at the end of the day, I like to analyze these charts on these time frames, which is more powerful. And at the moment, I mean, is that really such a big worry, what it's doing now on the smaller time frames? I mean, it's not, is it? It's not a massive worry. It's not a massive thing that's sticking out there saying, oh God, sell the dollar right now. So Kiwi dollar I kind of like to the downside. Pound yen. Pound yen is now broken. So we've broken through. We've had our V reversal. ABC, big bullish engulfer on volume at C wave. Push through the area. The only issue we have here is obviously this 200. Now, we need this to push on a bit more, retest to go long. And if we do get that, as long as this 200 is not in the way of 1-to-1, then I can take that to the upside. Now, obviously now with a lot of these pairs, the 200s are in the way, as you've seen with a few of them. Some of the moving averages are in the way. But again, if we do get 1-to-1 there, that's not bad. I would take pound yen to the upside because it's a nice setup. Nice big V reversal. Good complex corrective, digesting this move, and we're looking for a push through retest to go long. Now notice here the context on the daily, a very simple hammer bar at resistance. And actually, you could actually take that as a naked Forex trade, right? So we've got our movement down, hit our resistance area, our support area, sorry, printed our big hammer bar. So if you're a naked Forex trader, you could technically take that to the upside on a daily counter trend trade. So pound yen possibly to the upside, but obviously we got to think about this. It is counter trend. We could be just in pullback mode. And finally, USD check. So USD check, I am in this trade. The 4 hour obviously doesn't look great here, but that's okay. Our stop loss is all the way down here. It was not bad on the 4 hour. I thought this would push through, but it is a daily chart, so I'm looking at it on the daily. The daily still looks good. Basing cup with handle, push through, steady state retest, catalyst here on volume, and taking this to the upside. So that for me is still in. Yeah, I'll happily hold that. I know that doesn't look great as a hammer candle here, but you know, if it does come and give us a reload back to the 20, yeah, that's no problem. But it's in now. For me and my strategy, I don't touch it. Whatever happens will happen. Anything I do now will be psychologically driven, right? So I just let it go. I've done my analysis, right? If it fails, it fails. But how often has this happened to you where, you know, this may come down, you get a little bit worried and think, oh shit, it's going to hit my stop loss. You take it out and then it shoots to the upside. Again, I think I've said it, but that happens to me more often than not. Or it's happened to me too many times to do it again, if that makes sense. So, as I said, the trade's in, the analysis is there, the setup is nice. Whatever happens now will happen. Anything I do, any changes I make will be psychologically driven. So, USD check to the upside. Still like it. Okay, let's do USD CAD for Parsa the Hague? Parsa the Hague? Is that how you spell Hague? I thought it was H-A-U-G-H. Hague. Anyway. USD CAD, do I think it's pulling back to 26? Okay, USD CAD. Where's 26? So roughly around here. Talking about this area, right? Hague. I don't know. I'm pronouncing it as Hague. Maybe I'm wrong. Do I think it'll pull back to 26? Yeah, possibly. You know, if dollar wants to come down a little bit, I could see it pulling back to that. I mean, it's our next support level, right? So you could technically say we're breaking out and retesting. I mean, it's not a retest that I would like, but yeah, I mean, the momentum right now is certainly to the downside, right? So don't discount that it certainly is right now going down. And until it gives you that indication that this short-term downtrend is finished, then you have to keep saying that, you know, because right now, this 4 hour bar is very bearish. There's no doubt about it on a bit of volume. So, you know, my bias is thinking it's going to go down rather than it goes up right now. Long-term bias, daily perspective bias is uptrend. Yep, that's still the case. CAD has been weak, oil's weakening off, or oil's selling off, should we say. And you expect that to negatively affect the CAD, but things can't go in one direction forever, right? Things have to pull back. And I think we are in pullback mode. So, yeah, I think you could get that, Parsa. Buying there on a potential catalyst, or if you see some rejection around that area, might be a good entry. You'd expect that 26 to be a psychological level as well, right? You know, these psychological levels usually happen around that 1.26, 1.1, etc. So, yeah, I think it could do. but we do have we've got a 200 here. You've got the 1 hour 200. Yeah, I think that bias is right. I would say that bias is right. Pull back to the 1.26. I think that would be a decent entry, but only if you get, for me personally, only if you get something that tells you, okay, the market's saying we're happy being above this area, right? So that would be my kind of thing. Even though it comes down to this area, for me personally, it's got to tell you that it wants to reject it. It's got to give you something that's saying, okay, it's rejecting it. So if you do come down and get possibly this, right, you get price action moving up. For me, a break above this area would be that confirmation. Okay, so if I don't get any catalyst down here, then I would personally wait for a break of B wave for continuation to the upside. I think that would be the safer option. EuroCAD. I was actually looking at EuroCAD yesterday, Lam, on a potential breakout or a fake out trade to the downside, and you kind of had your catalyst here, but right there, but also it didn't break the level, so I couldn't actually take it. So what do I think of EuroCAD? I mean, if we put a Fibonacci on it, I presume this 50% level is, yeah, where it gets to. Yeah, I think I mean, that 50% fib is quite a big level, right? But in saying that, do I like this price action? No, it's not. That doesn't fill me with any confidence if you're a trend continuation to the upside buyer. Trend continuation buyer. Because it's quite strong, isn't it? You know, you just look at price action there. You know, these are the things, like, these are the things with these climactic moves here. They're often liable to this kind of snapback. So in terms of EuroCAD longs, I would be a bit worried. If I had a bias, right, it would probably be at the moment to sell that EuroCAD, if I'm being honest with you. Certainly if the SPX wants to move. But again, you know, we're getting conflicting messages because the daily chart looks long. So again, with EuroCAD, I'd wait till roughly around this area. If you're looking to buy it, then, you know, look at this area for something that's telling you that this is over. I just worry about the strength of this pullback. Certainly if we kind of break through here and break through there with gusto, you think, okay, maybe we're going to the downside on EuroCAD, because we've seen it. We've seen that time and time again on EuroCAD. If we break through, you know, all these real decent pushes kind of sold into, right? So yeah, for me, I would just be wary. I would just be wary of EuroCAD. I'll be honest with you. I don't know which direction you're looking, but yeah, the pullback doesn't look very nice. Euro yen. Okay, I'll do euro yen for Rohan Ritchie, and then I'll get off because I think the Lions team is getting announced right now, so I'd like to see what that is. If any of you are rugby fans. Euro yen. Initially off the bat, you're looking at a rejection of that 200 on the daily, which could cause some upside movement. So you got that initially. If we get a breakthrough here on euro yen, you'd expect potential upward movement. This is a decent candle here, right? The yen is weakening off on account of those stocks pushing. Kind of broken out of this. It's not really a valid trend line at all because it's only one touch. You want to see two touches. Euro yen. If I was going to give my bias, Rohan, it'd be intraday possible upward movement. But until the stocks tell us what it wants to do, if the stocks decide to push, then yeah, euro yen long, you've got to say that. But if we see a bit of a loss of momentum in that market, you could see this, even though it breaks through this area. How often have we seen this in this market recently? A kind of breakthrough, fake out longs, bang, and off we go. Or a potential move up to roughly these stop locations and then coming back down, which you could see if the stocks, you know, give us that harder complex corrective. You could see that. But intraday, I mean, it's not a nice pair to say, Rohan, I would say. It's not a nice pair. You've got your 200 here on the 1 hour. That will be dynamic resistance. You've crossed over these moving averages on the 30-minute. Okay, you've got a nice bar here. You've got a good daily bar here. So yeah, my buy is intraday long, longer term, possibly short, depending on that market, I would say. So, you know, for me, like I've only got 3 pairs on my watch list. You know, it's It's quiet. It's quiet. I do like NZD USD. I have to say, I do like this. I think this is a nice setup if it comes, you know, to fruition, if we get it, because, you know, my bias is still stock market to the downside. My bias is still dollar upside. And if we get a nice setup there, roughly around that 38.250, I would like that. So yeah. All right, everyone. Appreciate you coming. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you get some value. And I'll see you all on Friday for another update. I was going to say something there, but I can't remember what I was going to say. It's gone out my head. No, it's gone. Can't remember. All right, guys, I'll remember and I'll probably say it on Friday. But thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Remember, trade safe. The market's not great. There is probably an argument for trading shorter term or staying out, but yeah, just be patient. Be patient. One of the main things you need in trading. All right, guys, thank you. I appreciate it. Peace.